Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining our vendor session from NiCE, and I'm welcoming you at NiCE virtually to present you our management packs for various applications. So let's get started and talk a bit about the topic I have selected for today here. And we talk today about the uniqueness of our NiCE management packs and what makes them so unique. At the same time, we will go across the different application and present it to you. So I prepared a number of demos, so this is not just going to be slides. And at the same time, we also have a Slack channel, so if you want to drop us some messages at the same time, feel free to do so. All right, let's get started. So NiCE was founded like over close to 30 years. We have not turned 30 yet, but will soon. So we are in the 30th year of business right now, and we didn't start all the way from management packs in 1991, but at that time there was the business was in a different area, but still around IT, and around the year 2000 we really got serious about the monitoring business. So, and later with SCOM 2007 R2, that was around 2008, we actually started then to go into the details of developing management packs. Why could we do that? The main reason, because we had a lot of experience from the previous product we supported, which was HP OpenView. It's a long time back. Now today it's called Business Service Manager, and it's owned by a different company called Micro Focus, but it still has its roots in the HP OpenView in many areas. So for the first years of this century, basically we supported Oracle, DB2 and other applications to be monitored on HP OpenView, and we gained a lot of experience. So when we started in 2008 around to develop the first management packs for SCOM, we had all the expertise on the application side. So SCOM was new at that time, but and then we could actually take profit and gain experience with SCOM throughout the next years when we developed additional management packs. So over the years now, it's like 12, 13 years basically since we developed management packs. We have built the largest selection of any vendor out there. We have a large customer base. We have a large customer base, and we have the largest selection of management packs. So next, actually, we might want to talk a bit like what it means to develop management packs, because I know today we have many here in the audience that are familiar with developing management packs, develop management packs themselves, or have a good understanding what a management pack is. So in the beginning, it started like with every one of us starts basically at that time probably more like a notepad. We didn't have a Visual Studio. We didn't have MP Author Select from Select as a suite to author management packs. We had some other tools at that time that you might remember, but we really started typically with the notepad way and built this together. And then we actually started going into the workflows and started to learn about cookdown, like all we do, and we have to all go the same path down, I guess. So, and what we have seen over the years is that the key comes in when we talk about scalability. So that is the biggest challenge. And once we had the first management packs out there and the first larger customers with hundreds of Oracle servers, for example, were using our management packs, we had to change the architecture, and we saw, well, just coming from a remote location to monitor something is sometimes not enough, and we had to think about other architecture ways we could use, and I'll talk about this in the next few minutes. But before that, I just want to give you a bit understanding how NiCE is working. So we have two main locations. One is here in Europe, where I'm located in Stuttgart area, southern Germany, with the development team. And we have also in North America a team of very skilled people, so in the East and the West Coast. So primarily to support our growing United States or North American customer base. We do have customers also in South America, but that is a developing market, so the primary focus is Middle and North America here with our support staff in North America. So with that, we can actually deliver 24/7 support for all or most regions in the world. And I'm really happy to have so good feedback from our customer around our support. So I can't thank enough my support team as always. So they're just really there for our customers. We have quite a large number of customers in different places, different regions of the world now. So, and in case you come across one of our management packs or use one of our management packs, you know what I'm talking about. Great, let's go a bit further and talk about enterprise systems. Because our management packs is to 2/3, I said, used in larger environments where we have SCOM management groups of 500 or 1,000 servers plus, where there's a strategic use of SCOM. So, and it also has integration into ticket systems and so on. With that, actually, it means we need to really be careful what we're doing. We just cannot throw a management pack out there and it starts discovering. So, and then it might affect the whole environment or the whole infrastructure in the worst case. So what we actually start, for example, is when we develop a management pack, we turn all the discoveries off. So we have even not a seed discovery that runs on all systems, because if you just have like a file check seed discovery that checks all your systems in your environment, you might waste a lot of resources because there's only like just one or a few systems you actually want to monitor. Or going further down into more complex discovery, we try to narrow that down. Just to give you an example. Or as a next example, like let's assume like you have an Oracle cluster system with a 4-node rack system where you have in a cluster 4 different nodes balancing your Oracle workload. So if you come like from a remote location to monitor that Oracle system, for example, you miss out on many things that are happening on the individual cluster nodes. So if the customer has a SCOM agent that's sitting on those cluster nodes, we have a lot of more possibilities from those nodes. There are things like the clusterware, the cluster software that coordinates the Oracle system between the different nodes. It's cluster-ready services, and those cluster-ready services, they have also an integration to monitor. But that's only available on the system, including all the logs. So we actually have 2 directions to monitoring, one on the system and one from the outside. So we can give you a whole picture on the monitoring system. Besides that, obviously, if you look at different applications, like taking, for example, VMware. VMware has clusters. The whole vSphere environment can really get complex with the vSAN and all different pieces in place there. So we make sure that we also support 10,000s of VMs, and we support many ESX hosts and in the environment, and really also can scale horizontally to monitor that environment. The next point on this list here about a uniqueness I want to mention is we do fully integrate into SCOM, because we believe this is the main business benefit we give, and we believe this is our uniqueness we can also provide. So that means, what does it mean, full integration, right? You might challenge that question. So the full integration for us means that we build on what you have. That means we don't put additional gateways out there, we don't install an appliance or things like that. We basically use the SCOM environment and the agents. Ideally, all the ports are open already, so that means if you have like an Oracle system sitting on a Linux system, for example, you can just put the agent on there and close even the Oracle ports if you like, if you have local installations. And even with a closed Oracle port, you can still fully monitor the environment. That, for example, applies if you have different networks for application workload and monitoring workload. You don't want that the management pack actually use the production interface, the network interface for Oracle for monitoring. So this way actually we can tie this entirely in from end to end to the SCOM environment. Obviously, we store the data in the SCOM-DB and the OpsDB in the data warehouse. So, but that's pretty clear. Also, from the integration into the console, we wherever we can, to be careful, wherever we can, we provide the information in the SCOM console. Or if you have like a solution like Square Up on top, it also can be used there. So the third point on here, I just want to go a bit into more details what it means integrating with the Linux and AIX agent. So Well, for Windows Agent, we most know. If you're familiar with managed modules and C# program, you know you can write your own modules for that. But you actually can also do that for Linux. And that's I'd say a bit more advanced. There's little information out there, but you indeed can go and say, well, this is the agent Microsoft provides, and you can extend it. So it's an open interface. The Linux and AIX agents are open sourced, so you can freely add to that. You can contribute. You can look at the GitHub projects there, and you can also extend it. So this is a provider-based concept. You can provide your own classes. You develop them in C code or C++ code. So no C#, C or C++, which is like kind of a different world than what you've been using on Windows environment. So and then you compile it actually on the Linux environment, and then you have a piece of code which is actually loaded during runtime in the Linux agent. This is the open OMI agent, and it's loaded, and then you can execute your own scripts. You can execute your own commands within that code, or you can spawn sub-processes. And this is again is all managed by the OMI server, which is part of the agent, and that does all the management there. So this integration, which is very tight, it's very native to SCOM, because this is the same way like Linux agents monitor, for example, disk space or process or log files. This is the exact way like Microsoft does it, or with the OpenEye project does it. So that's basically what we extend to use at NiCE. Obviously, we really provide good value for the money from our management packs. And just to give you a really good example for that, a new announcement we have upcoming here. So the new announcement, just to raise the tension a bit, is on the next slide, and it goes into the area also from Linux and AIX, because that's where we kind of build our specialty over the years. So about 8 years ago, we released a free management pack, which most of you probably know, which is the most commonly used management packs on thousands of systems out there. It's used as the NiCE log file management pack. So the NiCE log file management pack, we said, well, we need to release a product to the market where we contributed something back to the community. So we developed this management pack that has a managed module for Windows. It's very scalable, it's fast. So that log file management pack is free to be used, can be downloaded from our website, and but it does Windows only. That's the big catch. So it does Windows only. So and we've been receiving requests over the years like, well, you're doing a lot of Linux, right, Christian? And why don't you do that for Linux? And say, well, it's a bit tricky, because if we do that, typically people who use that log file management pack also need to know a lot of things about Linux. And how do we manage to actually bring this together? But over the last years, we have seen that Microsoft gives Linux a lot of love, because over 50% of Azure VMs running on Linux now. So, and Microsoft's like doing kernel commits, it contributes to the development of Linux. So through that, Linux has moved more into the server market, and I would bet that like about everybody who's on the call here today has Linux somewhere, even if you don't know. It might be running even on your phone. Well, with that, actually, we said we also need, or it would be good to provide something for Linux log file monitoring, because there is something available from Microsoft, the SCX log file reader. It's part of the agent, but it has some limitations, and also with respect to scalability. So we said, let's do a Linux management pack. Yes, and we are here. We announcing the NiCE Linux log file management pack, which is a new free community management pack by NiCE. We'll put a link to that into the chat, so feel free to pick that up and register and download it. So it's at the same area where the NiCE Windows log file management pack is, and there's more content being provided and released. Well, with that, I think with that announcement, I just want to wrap up a bit before I come to the first live demo. And the first live demo will be of one of management packs we featured, but I can't stress enough here that the community work we're doing with these free management packs is for you, really. And when we developed this Linux log file management pack, it was key for us to actually get feedback from the community. So there was a version first developed, I think 4 years back, of what has been released now, and has been tested by us. Then we actually gave it to two larger customers who are using it in production now for many years. So this is not something really new in that sense, but it has a maturity of 3 to 4 years right now. We had it more like a bit under the hood. And obviously they were eventually thought of using it in projects or so, and we did actually. So there came out a project where we used this log file management pack. But in the end, I'm not a fan of leaving things in the drawer rest forever, and but rather give it out to the community. So I was really happy that the owners of NiCE decided, yes, we can have a new community management pack, a log file management pack here also for Linux. So and that's how we came to it. Important is that I want to mention that it's important that you give us feedback. Yeah, because it also, the further development will depend on that. So if we don't receive any feedback from that, then it will be very difficult for us to continue to develop it, because we'll just like see, well, nobody's probably using it, maybe did something wrong, maybe not, so we don't know. So this is really about feedback. So feel free to contribute feedback to that. Great, let's get started with the first featured management pack. As a first featured management pack, I have chosen the NiCE management pack for Microsoft 365, or we call it also NiCE Active 365 management pack. Why is this the active management pack? The active management pack because it is not just pulling information and using it and displaying it in SCOM, but also it actively probes for functionality. So think about a robot which goes out there and sends you some emails back and forth, and think about it like pulling reports, evaluating them, or also uploading files or downloading files from a SharePoint site. It also integrates in Teams and verifies additional team functionality. Okay, to make this not too dry, I actually have a live demo here. So I quickly want to show you a bit around the management pack. So stay with me. All right, the demo system should be out and ready. Yes, very good. So let's get started. So first, you see on the left side, the SCOM monitoring console, the navigation pane, and obviously I have I've hidden all the typical management packs you know. So we focus on some core management packs NiCE is providing. So first, let's have a look at the NiCE Active 365 management pack. A good point to start here is either the tenant overview, where you can have multiple tenants, or we could have a look at the diagram view, which represents all the different services that are in monitoring. So let me start here. So first we have the service. So we have a SharePoint service, we have OneDrive, or we have Exchange, or we also have Teams. Let's make this a bit smaller. All right. So let's get started on the left side here. So for monitoring Exchange, obviously it's all about the databases, the Exchange mail databases where your mailboxes are. So we have discovered various data centers in the United States where mailboxes reside or have resided, so we can have a focus on those data centers. Next, we have some locations where we run transactional checks from, so synthetics basically. And let's have a look what those type of synthetics are which we run here. In the Health Explorer, we can, for example, see the Exchange Web Server response time. We can see how long it takes from a system to log on to the mailbox. We can also see that same from a different location. Let's say we have a branch office in Ohio. So we can also see, well, the logon duration from Ohio is fine. Also, the availability of the auto discovery service is working from there. All NiCE management packs include like detailed product knowledge and give additional information on resolution in case there is an alert. But not only we monitor the availability, but we have a larger range of different performance counters as well, which we can look at. For example, let's see how long does it take actually for a user from a specific location to log onto a mailbox. So if we see from one system, which is the local host system, it's much faster than from a remote location in Ohio, which typically depends on the distance of the different data centers, or in this case, the local host here is at the SCOM server, on the SCOM server level where we run this, and from Ohio we have a remote system that runs a test over there. And both log on to the same tenant, which in this case is located in the United States. Let's go on and see what we else offer. Next, in the OneDrive area, we have performance monitoring again, like log on latency. One of the key indicators, how long does it take for a user to log on to their OneDrive? The same applies to SharePoint. So for SharePoint, we also do show like the log on duration, here log on latency, and we see it's pretty stable. We have some spikes here, which typically would generate some alerts if there's a problem occurring. Let's go on and have a look at Teams. So Microsoft Teams, we do a chat functionality test, and currently in preparation and soon to be released is also the monitoring of Teams call quality. So we are in preparation, so expect some news there very shortly. There are many other things I could show you. We have reports in here, and we can also identify key bottlenecks and reports on different users that have, for example, filling up their OneDrives, for example. But I will not go into further details at this point. I rather go and talk a bit about some other management packs we do. The next featured management packs is the NiCE management pack for VMware. I will also show a very quick demo on this, only a few minutes of your time to give you a short background of what we're doing here. So let's go back to our demo system. I'm using the NiCE VMware management pack here. So also if you look from a top at here, we typically start at the data center perspective. So if you look at the diagram view from the data center, we see at the top we have the data center, and we discover the various components that make up a data center in the vSphere environment. So we have virtual machines, we have hosts, we have data stores. So let's, for example, look at the virtual machines. I see there are a lot of virtual machines, right? Over 60 virtual machines right now. So we actually group them together into a healthy part and a non-healthy part here. So and then we can actually drill down and see details of that. If you take one of the virtual machines, we get all the details associated to it, and actually see that there's a problem with the data store here, that accessing the data store causes a problem with that specific virtual machine. If you look at the data store side, we also see that the same data store actually here is in trouble. So if you look at that, open the Health Explorer again, you can detail that actually there's a problem accessing this specific data store. So there seems to rather be a problem with that specific data store. So we can analyze problems around data stores, networks, hosts, or even in the vCenter easily with this management pack. It covers a lot of different use cases, like noisy neighbor scenario, where the specific VMware is causing problems on the whole system. If a cluster is unbalanced and occurring many vMotions from one ESXi host to another, we will alert on that. Also, if specific data pools, data stores running out of storage, there will be an alert. If there's read and write latencies on a specific data store, we'll given information on that. Here, for example, we see the write latency for specific data stores. Additionally, we do monitor sensors and host, and we can run tasks. So the management pack is not there only for monitoring, but you can also boot up various virtual machines. Like, for example, let's select a bunch of virtual machines here and open the task pane on the right side. So each of the virtual machine which is discovered here comes with various numbers of properties. We can use that, for example, to populate the CMDB or for other purposes in our ITSM environment. Again, I will also not go into more details here due to the matter of time and focus on another management pack that we provide from NiCE. The NiCE management pack for Oracle. It is one of the management packs we maintain since over 10 years now. We started with Oracle monitoring in the year 2001, and we have developed additional content and additional intelligence on monitoring Oracle over the years. So let's also have a quick look at that. Let's go back to our demo environment and also have a look at Oracle here. So Oracle can run on Linux, Unix, or Windows environment. So for example, if you look at the Linux system, for example here, we do monitor that fully agent-based. So we build the monitoring on top of the agent that is available. So let's see here, for example, we see instances, Oracle instances discovered. So let's look, for example, at the diagram view as well. So here we see the Oracle server with 2 instances on one system. And all the monitoring is based on the health service. So we can actually do a roll up all the way to the actual Linux system. We do have automatic storage management on here. So in case you're using real application clusters in Oracle, this is fully supported and can be monitored in terms of Oracle clusters. Since we are running on the actual Oracle system, we have the ability to run commands there to evaluate the cluster ready services, for example, and also monitor those. The CDB is a container-based concept that was introduced with Oracle 12 and is fully supported and also monitored. We can drill down into the different areas like processes, the system global area, also look on the side of PDBs, table spaces, and go even further down into the data files. On the data file level, we get details like the size, if there's, for example, an auto extend enabled, and according to that, can correctly calculate the space which is left on the mount point and take that into the calculation for the overall availability of table space size. So in altogether, provide a very accurate alert in here. Again, if you open at any point here our Health Explorer, we'll see problems that occurred or can occur with all the different monitors. Over 80 different monitors are part of this product. Here we see actually somebody forgot to create a backup and the administrator decided that this is a critical alert in case the backup failed or was not completed. So in that case, an alert is triggered and an alert can be forwarded to the different systems. With that, let's also go back to a few last slides to wrap this up. Last but not least, I provide about an overview of the other management packs we provide at NiCE. So first we have DB2, one of the first management packs we developed next to Oracle. Then we have HCL Domino, which was an IBM product with nodes before. We do have a management pack for that as well. Also, we do with a partner together the PostgreSQL. We do PowerAJ for IBM environments, Veritas for cluster service. We do also have a lot of custom applications we do monitor, log files, and on Linux we have some special management packs for IBM Power and Z-Linux. With that, I come to the end of my presentation. So I thank you a lot for taking part in my session here today. And if you have any questions, feel free to actually go to Slack now, to the Slack channel, and pop me a question. And I can take it and answer it right away. Also for those that are listening to the recording, thank you very much. And if you want to learn more, feel free to go down to our webpage, www.nice.de. It's the nicest page out there, believe me, and drop us a line. Otherwise, feel free to also call us on our numbers or drop us an email. Thank you very much for taking part in my session.